Morning. Welcome back to Spirit Coffee Time with Paul. Today I want to talk to you about something incredibly personal, something that has shaped my life in profound ways, and something I believe many of you might resonate with. The idea of soul contracts. I'm just not talking about theory today. I'm talking about the life lived, the hard lessons learned, and the incredible cheeky soul who walked beside me for 26 years and who still co-parents with me, but from the spiritual world. Many of you know I grew up a very serious neurodiverse child, a very serious psychic medium in the making. So while other kids were playing cricket in Australia, I was usually trying to explain at the age of 4 to my mum that Auntie Carmel had made it to heaven. And she says hello. And that's all I knew. That's the words I knew. And my mum had not told me she'd passed yet. It was my normal, but it meant my world was often heavy and deeply connected to the unseen. And sometimes, well, a little too solemn. And like in a dark event, when I was 7 years old, one of my primary school friends tragically died, and she visited me. These experiences also meant I had a unique, intense lens through which to view parenthood. Then came Jen, my late, wonderful, utterly cheeky wife, and when we met, she wasn't particularly spiritual. She listened to me skeptically when I mentioned things about her late Nana. But something clicked, and looking back, I can see it as so clearly now. We had a soul contract. A beautiful, complex, three-way contract that included our son. For those unfamiliar, a soul contract is essentially an agreement our souls make before we even incarnate into our body. In other words, we organize an agreement before we arrive on Earth. It's like the rules, but you make them for the game Uno, your own spiritual Uno, but for life lessons. We choose the people, the challenges, the joys, and I don't like this part, but the heartbreaks that will help us grow. And my contract with Jen and our son was a masterclass in balance, love, and evolving understanding in an intense environment. She, the wonderfully grounded, slightly cynical, incredibly witty woman, was and initially saw my psychic abilities as, interesting, Paul, a quirk, a novelty. But through seeing my experiences, and especially as we navigated raising our son while she went through cancer treatment, she started to open up. She began to understand, not just intellectually, but on a deep soul level when I told her things I could not possibly know in life before we even met. She saw the truth in what I had experienced, and her understanding grew into a profound spiritual wisdom that was all her own, shaping how we approached parenting. Aha! Now, here's the interesting part. What did she teach me? The serious neurodiverse psychic medium. She taught me to be naughty. She said, lighten up. Find the joy in the naughtiness. Everyone needs it. To use my gifts not just for solemn guidance, but for laughter and mischief, even in parents, even with the spirits. She would nudge me in a serious family gathering and whisper, I bet you know who's had a scandalous affair in this room. Yes, I will reply, but never with judgment, just with spiritual insights, when those naughty spirits would whisper in my ear who was misbehaving. Now, P.S., honestly, I don't care or judge what people do, as long as it doesn't impact my life. So, she turned my serious spiritual lens into a kaleidoscope of humor and humanity, showing me how to be a more playful and a less serious and strict father. Yes, my son and his mum would often misbehave behind my back too, which always makes me giggle now on reflection that they had had that great time together. That, my friends, was our soul contract. I helped her see the spiritual depths, and she pulled me out of the depths and the deep end teaching me that spirituality isn't about perpetual solemnity. It's about embracing the full spectrum of life, pardon the pun, including the joy, the silliness, and yes, the occasional naughtiness. Lessons we both applied to raising our son still to this day. Even now, with her in the spiritual world, those lessons continue for all of us. She's still guiding him, still nudging me, and we're still co-parenting, just from a different dimension. Her cheeky spirit is very much part of our son's life and my life. Losing her was and is incredibly difficult. And even in grief, I see the contract fulfilled and yet continuing at the same time. The lessons integrated, the growth exponential. She completed her earthly journey having embraced a spiritual understanding she once scoffed at. And I, the serious medium, learned to dance, laugh, and perhaps even bend my own personal rules along the way, becoming a more balanced person thanks to her. So, if you're wondering about the challenging people in your life, or in my case, the people that annoy me, or the ones who bring you immense joy and growth, especially those you share the journey of parenthood with, either together or apart, together, consider the idea of a soul contract. What lessons are you here to learn together? What balance are you meant to strike or remove from your life? And remember, sometimes the greatest spiritual teachers are the ones who teach us how to truly live, laugh, and perhaps just a little bit how to be delightfully cheeky. Lessons that echo across lifetimes and even dimensions. So, thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on soul contracts, and perhaps the cheeky souls who've shaped your journey. So please post them. Don't forget, you can always book a time with me to see what naughty messages your loved ones have for you. See you next time.